Hi, and welcome back to our podcast, Talking Modern Design. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Katie. Today we're going to be talking about an iconic Edmonton landmark, the Hotel MacDonald, and why they decided to put a castle in the middle of Edmonton.
Yes, the Hotel MacDonald has stood out in Edmonton architecture for many years since it has this castle-like structure and the fact that it stands above the Edmonton River Valley.
So much thought went into the structure and location of the hotel to make it a landmark of Edmonton.
Throughout this episode of the podcast, we will dive deeper into the history and design of the Hotel MacDonald. Let's get into it.
Well, the Hotel MacDonald opened in 1915 and was used as a rest stop along the Canadian Railway. It brought travelers from all over Canada and even people from overseas.
Yeah, tons of people like President Ford and Clinton, Oprah, and even Queen Elizabeth II.
And to make the hotel stand out from all the other buildings, the architects decided to create a castle-like structure in a chateau style from the French Renaissance.
Yes, definitely creating the Hotel MacDonald in this style brought a sense of sophistication and elegance to the travelers stopping here.
So it definitely made all the royalty staying there feel right at home.
Exactly. The architects were taught in the classical traditions of French architecture, so they incorporated that style into their designs.
Oh yeah, you can see it in the turrets, high-pitched roofs, and the horseshoe shape surrounding the courtyard of the building.
I remember reading about McCall and his research concerning French Chateau. Did explain that architects substituted their surrounding fortifications with splendid stables, flower gardens, and fountains, because the artistic instinct made the men of those days seek ocular pleasure in their surroundings.
Yeah, and speaking of ocular pleasure and aesthetics, did you know that it actually had a renovation that added a large expansion on the right wing of the building in 1953?
Really? I bet it was just as grand, right?
Actually, no. It was a completely different style from the original and took away from the uniqueness that the hotel had. They called it the box, and it was built to help the post-war population growth. Thankfully, it only lasted for 30 years and was then demolished in 1983 to preserve the elegance and chateau style of the hotel.
It's amazing how much the hotel has changed over the years, but what's just as fascinating is the setting itself.
Yeah, the architects clearly chose where they built it with intention.
Yes, so let's talk about where the Hotel MacDonald is located, the Edmonton River Valley.
Yeah, don't you think it's a little odd that such an elegant building was built near the wilderness of the river valley?
It is a bit strange, but you have to remember that being a railroad hotel, the Hotel MacDonald had visitors from all over the country, and even a few from overseas.
Right, that makes more sense. So I guess the natural landscape would also be an interesting sight compared to the perfectly manicured lawns of Europe's chateaus.
Exactly. Having the hotel be built on top of a hill overlooking the river gave a change of scenery, and a beautiful one too.
Now that I think about it, other Fairmont hotels follow this idea too, like how the Fairmont Hotel in Lake Louise is looking at a mountain landscape.
Yes, they wanted to showcase the different landscapes throughout Canada. Also, what do you think about the juxtaposition of the building itself compared to the landscape?
Well, it is certainly interesting how the geometric nature of the Hotel MacDonald compares to the river valley's landscape. I think it was so the building would stand out more against the organic nature of the scenery.
That's really interesting. I think that may have also contributed to the hotel becoming such an iconic Edmonton landmark.
Totally. That and the fact that there are no other buildings that look like it in the area.
That's exactly right. It's why the Hotel MacDonald stands out so much for both locals and tourists then and now.
So to answer the question that started this conversation of why did they put a castle in Edmonton, it wasn't just a place to stay. It was meant to impress travelers coming through the Canadian Railway and to bring a sense of home within a new land.
So much thought went into the design and location of the Hotel MacDonald. It's kind of amazing to think about how architecture can tell a story about the time it was built in. The Hotel MacDonald wasn't just a place to stay, it represented Edmonton's growing identity in the 1900s.
And that's why, over 100 years later, the Hotel MacDonald still stands as one of Edmonton's most iconic landmarks. Creating it in a chateau style and building it in the river valley created a contrast between the grand geometrical architecture of the hotel and the natural landscape of the river valley.
We hope you learned a bit more about the Hotel MacDonald and its history in Edmonton. Thanks for listening to Talking Modern Design.
See you next time!